Okay. Now the big data market is growing very fast. It's super transitioning, and in truth, the big data extends to B2B businesses. Maybe. Oh, and I didn't expect that too. Okay, big data is a super trendy thing, and now it expands to B2B market. Many businesses generate data, even more data, and most of them doesn't know what to do with it. And now there are some companies, some big companies as Yandex and some smaller companies which try to help them to improve their businesses while processing this data. And in truth, the market is not very networking one because that's not a social network or that's not a portal. There are many potential customers, and if you're good in making something for one of them, you count in 3 minutes. And I didn't expect that also. I have 1 minute left. Okay, the market is not very networkish one, so maybe we can start with making some smaller things for smaller companies than Yandex. Of course, he knows about big data much better than us, but we still can find our place in the market, and after that try to expand. Thank you very much for your attention.
Hey, give it up, come on. So, first thing, who understood what's the problem that he's trying to solve? Show of hands. Over there. Oh. What did you understand? What's the problem? Working with the, what's the problem with that?
Yeah, that's not the problem. Okay.
It's not about, no, stay here, because this is an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
People. Okay, that's interesting. Anybody got something else? Somebody shot from there. So here's one of the best things I can recommend regarding startup pitches. You're working on the presentation, right? So the clearer it is, the easier it is to understand. Most investors are stupid. As an investor, I can tell that. We know less about your market than you do. If we know more, that means you haven't done your research. So when you describe the problem, saying big data is difficult, well, duh. That's not a problem, that's a fact. Try to transform that, how that fact is a problem for a specific industry or even for a specific company. For example, big data is difficult for Dropbox because they get 5 tera of data per day or per minute, and they cannot analyze how the users use the data. That still doesn't provide a big problem. It reduces their revenue by 5% every day. That's a big problem. So stating facts is not describing what happens with them. So when you think about defining what's the problem, think about clearly identifying what's the pain point for one specific customer. So thank you very much, and I see the presentation is already there.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And next time somebody gives you a stage to pitch about your startup, please take it. There is no second chance to make an awesome first impression. And no matter, and this is one of the things that we'll talk about and we can have some Q&A afterwards, no matter what people tell you, failure is part of it. Everybody is shitty at presentation at the beginning. Steve Jobs, who here saw one of his presentations? A video, not just live. How is he presenting? He's an awesome presenter, right? Do you know that before each presentation, he spent 3 days only doing that presentation? Even the last ones before he died. 3 days presenting, so he'll know everything to the dot. Presentation, I hate presenting. Literally, every time I practice this, I think about 25, 30 times, and I'm still going to fuck it. But you're the audience, so it's up to you. So, who here heard about Wayra, other than the guy that runs it? Wayra, that brand over there. Nothing. Excellent. I need to work on it. So, that's why I titled it, What is it all about and why you should be part of it. A bit about myself, just to let you know, so I'm not completely full of shit. I spent the first 12 years of my life in Israel. I built products for financial, telecom, funded my own company, grew it from 4 to 55 employees. In Israel, you have to go through the military, and I spent actually 4 years in the Navy doing complete geeky, stupid stuff, which basically boils to a big video game, but actually with a bigger bang. And then I moved to Spain. I started to work for a startup accelerator, venture capital, and from there moved to Germany and did a couple of years M&A, mergers and acquisitions, especially in TMT, technology, media, and telecoms. And last year, I moved to Wayra. So let's start with a question that I already posed before. Who here plans to raise money as an entrepreneur now or in the future? Higher, higher, come on, don't be ashamed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent, let's say. So, second question. If you can stand up, if it's not too frightening, who here plans to invest in startups, now or in the future? Stand up, please. Excellent. All of those that raise your hand, talk to these people. Okay? Basically, that's what a good accelerator does. That's what Wayra does. Introduces entrepreneurs to startups and investors. So, let's cover what I'm not going to talk about today. I'm not going to talk about bootstrapping. I'm not going to talk about crowdfunding. And I'm not going to talk about angel investors or VCs. All of that is amazing, and we can have tons of other discussions about them. I'm going to talk about accelerators, and specifically, also the accelerator that I'm heading its program, which is called Wayra. So, what are accelerators? Anybody from the audience, please? You heard a lot about this just today. 50 people, accelerators. Anybody has an idea why that? Fuck. Are they? Yeah, what is an accelerator? Yeah? Yeah? Very close. Actually, almost, I think you hit 90% of everything. So, first of all, the scientific approach. Accelerators are fixed-term, cohort-based programs that include mentorship and educational components and culminate in a public pitch event or demo day, which is basically saying, this is MIT Innovation, Susan Cohen about a couple of years ago. She tried to define what is an accelerator and how do you differentiate. So, first of all, fixed term, so it has to be for a fixed period. It's not a co-working space. It's based on cohorts, so people come in, or teams, startups come in together, and it's part of building a community. And it includes different mentorship and educational programs to support the startups, and culminate in public pitch event or demo day. Why is that? What's the purpose behind it? What's the main purpose of an accelerator other than to accelerate? What does that mean? Accelerate what? It's either you're really sleepy or I'm really bad. Okay, at least somebody's smiling. So, anybody saw this ever? Excellent, nobody saw it. So, 2012, a bunch of students from Stanford and UCLA created the Startup Genome Report. Startup Genome Report surveyed about almost 700 startups across the world and tried to identify the main stages of growth and how you relate to each and every one. If you look at the beginning, discovery and validation, this is where you start. You have an assumption about what's a problem, and you assume your solution will solve it. You go to validation to find data in the market to validate that and prove that users are willing to use your product and pay for it. This is where angels used to play. Okay? VCs came after. They go for efficiency and scale. And the idea is you manage to find a product market fit, and from product market fit, it's okay for VC to come in, pull some money, help you become a lot more efficient and scale. Okay so far? At least nod, people. Come on. Do me a favor. So, who was the first that created an incorporator or any kind of accelerator? What? Y Combinator. Excellent. Who's this guy? Paul Graham, founder of Y Combinator. Well, at least you know the name. That's awesome. That's better than everybody else. So Paul Graham, about 10 years ago, in Cambridge, Massachusetts, not the UK, said, listen, how can I improve on this? I mean, today, doing 1 and 2 takes tons of time, tons of effort, but you don't have to because of internet and cloud computing and everything. How about creating a program for 3 months where I give people $20,000 for 6% of the company because at this stage they're not really worth much, and really put them into a rigorous process, give them tons of smart people to give advice, and after 3 months I invest more in those that manage to create good traction. Sounds good? Sounds excellent, because that guy went and created the top accelerator that created some of the best startups that you're using. Anybody heard about Jobbox? Yeah, that guy. Airbnb? Again, that guy. So just the startups that are valued in the accelerator portfolio, I think are about $6 billion. So this is the model of all accelerators in whenever or wherever they are. 6%, more or less, for 3 months. And this is for the last 10 years. The only reason is because of this guy. He created it. Everybody copycat. So now, what is Wayra? Wayra is the organization I'm working for in the UK. And basically, it's part of Telefonica. Telefonica is one of the biggest telcos in the world. And we, within Telefonica, created a program called Open Future. And Open Future is Telefonica's way to connect to the ecosystem, to bring innovation back. It's not like in the past it came from university research to military, all the way to private, and after 25 years the technology ended up with the people. Today, 2 people in a garage can change everything. So we have co-working spaces, we have programs that provide education for young entrepreneurs. We have Wayra in the middle, corporate funds, funds of funds, and within all of this umbrella, we created Wayra. Wayra was created in 12 different countries about 3.5 years ago. They're basically a global accelerator also almost from day one. These numbers are not so much up to date. We have to date, this is from about 6-7 months ago, more than 31,000 applicants across the globe, and we accelerated more than 470 startups across Wayra. Some of them are already in the program. We also partner with other telecoms. For example, we although don't have a Wayra in China, but we partner with China Unicom, and our startups, when they go to Shanghai, have a place to work, and that doesn't cost them money. So this is what we offer. And this, by the way, there's one more place in the current cohort, so if anybody's interested, definitely talk to us. Basically, 4,000 cash plus 40,000 in services. $40,000. No. Pounds? No. Euros. In pounds, it's 34. Okay? And it's the fixed term. Because we have to be global, and Telefonica is based in Spain, we accommodate to each currency. Anyway, 40,000. The services are coaches, are mentors, and a lot of other things that I'll describe later on. 7 to 10% equity. Basically convertible note. Anybody know what that means? Excellent. 3 people. And if anybody wants to ask questions, feel free. Unlike 3 months program, we're on average of 10 months. So it's almost a year. Some of the startups stay for 12 months. And we help you get Telefonica as a partner. Very important thing, helping get Telefonica as a partner doesn't guarantee it. It depends on your product and on the startups that are with you and what you can deliver for a corporate partner. And when you graduate, basically, we continue with all the services other than the space. You usually outgrow the space, and you have to leave after about 12 months. So probably as a startup, you hear a lot about KPIs. What are your key performance indicators? We have some of them as well. Investment raised by our startups, not including what the founders themselves invested, and fit with Telefonica. About 60% of our startups have a fit with Telefonica. It's not mandatory, so if you don't see any benefit with a fit with Telefonica, but you still see added value in the program, you should apply. So speaking of KPIs, how good are we? Investment. In the UK alone, a program that started 3 years ago, total funding of our startups to date are about $50 million. The target is by the end of this quarter to reach $69 million. Just to compare, Seedcamp managed to get $125 million after 8 years. We're hoping to break that. Second is we have startups such as this that help us. Last week, Yo-Yo, one of our best startups, just raised $10 million. If you are a student and you're thinking about mobile payments, you should definitely just download Yo-Yo. Go to the App Store, call Yo-Yo or just Yo-Yo, and download them. They're actually mobile payments that work. Second, Telefonica Fit. Last year, 50% of our startups from specifically last year's cohort had a trial or a contract with Telefonica. So perhaps that's not impressive for people that don't know what it means to work with a corporate, but within 9 to 10 months to put 50% of your startups, 3 to 5 people teams, to work with one of the biggest companies in the world, it's an achievement. More than that, if you add all the works that we did with alumni, last year we had 27 trials. 27 trials of startups with 3 to 5 people. And we already created contracts that gave them 4 million euros in revenue. This is what we provide. This is the Telefonica Fit that we look for and hope to create. And I'll just give one example, or perhaps two. RotaGeek is a startup that started last year in about February, March. They had basically 2 people. They have one product. About rotation. You know when you work in shifts, people use pen and paper or maximum Excel to manage it? It's a big problem when you talk about global companies that have stores all over the world. They managed to automate it, put big data on it, like that guy said, and managed to analyze and allow you to do everything online in mobile. They came in after 1 month, they did a trial. After 9 months, they launched with 250 stores. 3 people startup. Second one, Dautissima, content marketing for health in Brazil. But they're based in the UK. They launched and we managed to get them a contract for the next 2 years with Telefonica Brazil because they provide tons of content and 7 million users today. But we bring some other stuff as well. Duke of York, basically one of the princes, and the other guy is the King of Spain. These guys tweeted about our startups. So it may sound very interesting to say, yeah, royalty is involved, but actually the benefit is this. Passify, Pixelpin, and Insane Logic, our startups, get exposed to the network of the Duke and got invested because of that. Another one, last demo day. The guy in the middle, anybody knows who he is? Will.i.am, yeah. Anybody has an idea who that guy that photobombed us is? What? So that is the CEO of Telefonica in the UK. fotobramy vás. And the reason I put this here is because in that demo day, we managed to bring 500 people to the audience to see our startups. 100 of them were investors, 100 investors in one place. And 10 of them were the top technology journalists in the UK. BBC, FT, everybody were in the house. So yes, we use people and connections that we have, but the purpose is to bring that into startups. And I think this is the best testimony that we can have. When a startup that we invested in goes to Twitter and publicly says that they're proud that we're their investor, from our perspective, this is value. And this is what you need to look in your investors, no matter what you do as an accelerator, angel, or VC. You need to be able to say, I'm happy that I work with those people. So, how do you get into Wayra? Be awesome. Seriously, be awesome. We're looking usually for two kinds of things. The first is vision. People that are willing and able to look to the future and say, this is how we see the future change. This is how we see the potential in the future. But vision alone is not enough. We also need one more thing, execution. Execution is very important. Execution without vision doesn't help much, because if you row the boat but you don't know where you're going, you can be stranded on a beach. So vision and execution are the two most important things. But you probably ask yourself, so as an investor, that's all you're looking? People think investors, and as an accelerator that puts money, I am an investor, like to gamble. But it's very important that you understand, and some of you approached me before about investing. It's not about taking risks. It's not about gambling. Actually, every investor you'll ever meet hates risks. It's not about, oh, I see amazing innovation, let's put 50,000 in it. It's about you being able to tell us that you are able to mitigate the risk. It's, oh, there's a huge risk with great returns, but we know how to execute on that. Good examples on mitigating risks. How can you do that? Any idea? I'm asking too many questions, I know. So the first is the team. You have to have superheroes as your team. You have to have the brainiac and the guy that can punch everything. And you have to have the leader and the inspiration and the innovation. And you hear a lot about the team. And the reason is because the team matters if you want to change the world. Very few people manage to do it alone. Even Steve Jobs wasn't alone at the beginning. It's a matter of mitigating the risk of execution. I can't do marketing, sales, leadership, innovation all in one person. That person will burn out. So please, no matter what you do, please don't be this guy. It may seem really cool, but this is a lot better, even if it means you need to give away shares of your company. This guy just doesn't know what to do. There are only 24 hours a day. You need the team to support you. And this is a journey that takes 5 to 7 months. Airbnb, have you all heard about it? Excellent. When was the first time you heard about it? A year. What, a year ago, 2 years ago? How much? How many? 1 year ago. 4 years ago. Actually, Airbnb started 7 years ago. Most of you heard about it last year, probably. They've been around 6 years before you ever heard about them. Building a global startup takes time. At least 5, if not 9 years. So be able to understand that, and you won't be able to do it alone, no matter how good you are. It's not about you, it's about the business. Second thing, traction. Who here ever heard the word, show me traction? Okay, same people all the time. So can anybody define what is traction? Over there. Very good. Actually, it's one of the best I heard so far. If I try to visualize it, traction is something like this. You see the people in the water? That's traction. Some indication in the market, in what you're doing, that all of those huge crowds behind them will come and join and start using your product. It can be customers, it can be retention. If somebody's using your app every day for 5 minutes, for 30 days consecutive, you have traction. You maybe have it very low, 100 users, but that means you bring value to somebody. It differs from company to company, from industry to industry, and depends on you to define what is the good traction. Raising money is not traction, by the way. This is traction. This is a way to define traction. Anybody can pronounce what's downstairs? R, yeah. Pirate metrics, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever heard about this guy? Who is he? Shout it out. 500 startups. His name is Dave McClure, one of the coolest VCs that swears like a motherfucker. He's also a pirate. And before we go into what and how, just to make it clear, he invested in 586 companies, 723 times in the last 6 years. And that doesn't include his direct angel investments. So it's not me saying it. That guy knows his shit. Okay, so what is R? Acquisition, activation, retention, revenue, and referral. This is how you need to measure your startup. It doesn't matter if it's a pizza place down the block, which is, by the way, a business but not a startup, or if it's something else like a web platform or a mobile platform. The overall definition stays the same, but the implementation changes. So acquisition may be how many people downloaded my app on the mobile app, or it can be how many visitors I had to my website. But you can always define the R for your startup. And if not, you're not looking hard enough. And it's up to you to prove it to anybody else. The best way is to improve and work on this funnel. So this is how you show traction. Well, and this is what we're yeah. Oh, it's okay, because I'm at the end. And if I need to summarize it, this is what we're looking for. Get shit done. That's your main responsibility as the CEO, as startups. It's not about ego, it's not about raising money. Last week, the guy that raised 10 million that I showed you, he brought everybody together around the table, all his team, and called us in. He said, thank you very much, Wayra, for all your help in this. Thank you for the team, you've been awesome. We managed to do it all because of you. Everybody drank some champagne. We spent about 20 minutes celebrating. And then he said, guys, just please remember, we are not here to raise money. We're here to build a global product that people use. 15 minutes after that, he didn't have to say a word. Everybody continued working. With champagne, but continued working. This is what you need to do as a startup. It's not about raising money. It's about getting shit done. So I hope you accept the challenge. And if you have any question, I'm here.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Sorry for the delay and some technical issues. Well, your questions, comments, okay?
bit different. So if you look at Y Combinator, it's not really a program. There's one time a week they bring in awesome entrepreneurs such as Mark Zuckerberg for dinner, and he talks with the startups. And they have a team of people that you consult on per need basis. Because we're a 10-month program, we have every week a different coach coming in. Okay, that's also good. We have customer development, product development, UX, UI, storytelling, and we have a program of about 6 to 8 weeks, which is repetitive. So each coach is focused and is a subject expert in a specific topic. On top of that, we have CTO in residence, hacker in residence, people that you can come and take advice, and they are one of the most connected people in the London ecosystem. Hopefully, within the network, they can help you. Top of that, we have speaker series. So we bring Brent Huberman, actually, the founder of lastminute.com and Founders Forum, is coming tomorrow. I'm flying in just to host him. Hope I won't miss it. We had Jess, founder of Bleeper, that just raised 45 million as a speaker. We had Jonathan from Kano, John from SwiftKey, all the founders coming and talking to you, and in order to learn from mistakes. We call it learning from scars, because everybody were in your place. So on top of all of that, we have a mentor, which we refer to mentors a bit different. We try to fit you with 3 types of mentor. An entrepreneur that did a business in your industry, an investor that invests in your industry, and a corporate top guy from Telefonica that is passionate, has knowledge and context in your industry. So those 3 people usually serve as your board that you cannot afford. So Qualcomm Ventures, Intel Capital, Samsung Innovation, depends, and we feed them according to what the startup needs. We have 22 startups that are in now. 3 of them are hardware, 1 is 3D printing, 10 are mobile, other web, alpha, beta, commercial. So we tailor the solution to each one. So you get a tailored program, but it's all about the community. So it was a long answer, but I hope it provided some good info.
So we should continue with our agenda. A short question, please, and the last one.
I think other than biomedical, we had everything. Other than biomedical, we had some projects about genome and DNA sequencing. But let's say I can recommend, if you're doing that, I can recommend you some other good, even better places to go for that specific. Other than that, as I said, 3D printing, hardware, Internet of Things, smart houses, mobile. If you bring the whiskey, no problem.
Okay, thank you very much, David, once again for your excellent presentation and a small masterclass before your presentation. So I'm ready to present another speaker and moderator of a panel discussion. Thank you very much for your applause.